Hello, YouTube, everyone in the world. How's it going? Happy Monday. Happy 3-day weekend, everybody who has it, and everybody who doesn't, or if you're seeing this on another day. Hello. Happy whatever day it is to you. So I just had a celebration over this weekend. I got gifted this game, Horizon Forbidden West. I was not planning to get it until I saw more and more on it. And then I found my old gift cards, and was like, "Let's get it. Let's try it out." I love the first game, and I hope they change some things. So before I go talking about the game, let's talk about this. So apparently, the game is getting review bombed, um, and I saw a little bit. I saw like some, not clickbaity articles, I guess, but I saw some articles talking about it, and I want to talk about I want to go through the reviews, talk about if their criticisms or anything are actually valid, and then talk about the actual, about 6 hours into the game doing like mostly side quests and just killing shit. So I'd like to talk about kind of my experiences on if any of this actually has anything to do with like criticisms of the real game. So let's get into this. All right. So first things first. There are over 4,000 reviews of this. Like what, 3 days. I highly doubt. I highly doubt a lot of these tens and all these zeros and ones are worth our time. So I'm not going to go through the tens. I don't know if the game's a 10 yet. I don't know if I can give it a score like that. Can I say it's like near an 8.1 at least? Absolutely. If the original if Horizon Zero Dawn was say an 8.1 in your books or anything, this game gameplay wise and everything, um, I don't think there's anything except for like the beginning tutorial. It's like this is a sequel. Okay, this is not something that you just can get into and slowly learn the old game. No, this is a sequel. You don't need to have played the DLC really to get the story, but this is a sequel to the actual game. Starts right, like kicks right off from there. So these 10 out of 10s, um, I'm not even gonna bother with. We're not even gonna look at. We want all this. We want the checks. Now the things that are going to be interesting are the threes and fours. Okay, because like this, uh, like the zeros and ones are ridiculous. The threes and fours would be interesting because they'll probably take into account a lot of this stuff. But let me go through it, and I'll cherry pick some of these so we can talk about them. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm down. I'm already down here. I'm already down here. Yeah. There's some. I've breezed through some of these. There's some of them that are in Spanish. Looks like for French. There's like one or two that were in Russian. I went through some of these. Um, I think this is French. Les flèches, yeah. Um, okay, so let me go through the legitimate concerns. Okay, because the funny ones, actually, the legitimate concerns I'll go through afterwards. Let's go through the funny ones. So, um, people are saying that apparently here, um, I've seen this in a couple of these reviews, and I saw these in other reviews in the articles that I was reading while I was taking a dump today. They are making fun of the fact that the graphics don't look as good, which I highly disagree. You look at them side by side, every character model looks much better. Every character's interactions, every character's movements, the in-game cutscenes, outside cutscenes, the exploring of the world, everything looks better. Um, that's it. I like. It's not subjective. It's really not. Like maybe if you're looking at the compressed YouTube version from the what was it the trailer they had 6 months ago or something, maybe that doesn't look as good. I don't know, but this game, like I just went through the Frozen Wilds. Okay, I played a little bit of it a few weeks ago, and I watched the gameplay movies. It looks better than the DLC of the last game, which looked better than the majority of the whole game itself. So the graphics are not a complaint. The other thing that people are always they're saying, I have no problem with female characters. One of these guys, or one of these people, because if I say that, people will lose their fucking tits. Um, One of them says, like, I love, Tomb Raider games. I have no problem with female antagonists, blah, 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 blah. And then somewhere mentions, like, her beard hair. She looks too manly. The agenda pushing this, female form and everything. Women have hair, guys. I'm going to assume that these are guys. Because there's no criticism from this of a woman. Women have hair, guys. Women have hair here. Yeah. People do, actually. It's something that you grow up if you grow up in the real world outside of Instagram and Hollywood and media, where everyone and everything is tweezed and waxed to look as fake and perfect as they can. They have that. They don't have beauty. I would say people don't look wrangly enough. People don't look more realistic enough. They look more polished in it, but they look more realistic in here than the last game. And not just like realistic graphics wise. They look more realistic in their facial features. Dirtiness, ugliness in some people. It translates a lot more when you can have more textures and everything. Yeah, women have hair, guys. I don't know what the fucking problem is. I don't know why that's you don't even it's not, she doesn't have a beard. You don't see it constantly. But it makes her look realistic. It doesn't make her look like a plastic model, which is what she looked like in the last game. She looked more of like a plastic model. People have also said the story is one of the like worst stories in a AAA game. Now, I will tell you my criticisms. Very slight this game so far, and my wish is that I hope I'm only in like, as far as story wise, I'm only like 2 hours into the game. Maybe I'm in like 4 or 5 hours of just exploration, having fun. So they say that I don't know. I can't tell you. Maybe the story goes down the huge rabbit hole. But comparing the first 2 hours of this to the first 2 hours that I saw of The Last of Us Part 2, like everybody who's writing these zeros and ones, you guys must think The Last of Us Part 2 is like a -10 and one of the worst fucking games in the world. You must. Okay. So, yeah, maybe the story unfolds to be horrendous and horrible, but, a lot of them are also quoting, being woke and, pushing its agenda. Being woke, pushing its agenda. I don't. I gotta say, go look at my channel. Go see how I feel about what they were trying to do with Cloud and Final Fantasy. Go see how I feel about woke culture and pushing agendas. Go see how I feel about it. I ain't a proprietor of that shit. I'm not. I don't think you need to push an agenda to make a good story. I think that if they go together, they go together. But I think that if you push one over the other, you're going to probably have problems in 2022. I'd much rather them push a good story and created characters than an agenda of being like, oh, you know what? I can't show a female in a bad light. I can't do this. I can't. I'm not that. Like, that's whatever. And I could say that has to do very slightly with one of my criticisms I'll go through, but it's not from a woke agenda. It's more of a storytelling portion. So we'll get into it. But no, it's like if you played The Last of Us Part 2, right? If you were able to stomach that game, this is not woke. There's no agenda here. They're trying to make her like Link. I mean, there's no other way to describe. They're trying to make her like Link, except she has a personality. She doesn't just like do things, and she's just silent protagonist. She does things. She has a character growth and arcs. The way she interacts with the world is very interesting. It's not, I would say as far as the beginning, this is less woke and more of like uh, shitting on people for spiritual beliefs, because it's more of, like, Aloy's journey is now, like, after, and spoilers for the first Horizon if you haven't played it. Everything here is very scientific. Like, there's it has a lot to do with, like, global warming and all that. All of that was already set in the first game, so I don't know what agenda this one's trying to push. And it's furthering the story of that. It's less prominent so far, but the thing is like, I need a second to collect my thoughts. I'm sorry, just some of this is so like, so stupid. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. A lot of these people haven't played the game and they've watched the game cutscenes. Select game cutscenes. It's very clear. So there's less of a woke agenda of, like, females are good, males are bad, males are always misogynistic and bad and flawed, and females are always perfect. There's less of that than there is science versus faith, which is like a thing that Lost had, and there's not much here. It's not like it, and that's more prominent than female versus male agenda, which is apparently what everybody here, like, mostly has a fucking problem with, unless some of them are, like, anti-climate changers, and then that they also have a problem with. But there's a certain part in the game where you get to this priest he's dying because of his faith, and his people might die, and he doesn't do anything about it. Like, he still gives to the faith, and his followers are still believing him. It's all about faith, because that's what the world is. Nobody else can use the focus, but her, very few people can use the focus but her. She's had it since forever. Her DNA and everything with how the story goes. So she sees the world to really what it is: scientific world that crashed, and all these, like, explanations of the daemon, the god, the blue light, and all this stuff. All this has to do with, like, there's a scientific reasoning, but she knows that, but she doesn't shit on these other people. She, like, uses it to just she uses her knowledge and expertise and experience to help fix their problems. It's more shitting on religion than it is shitting on men. So I don't understand this these criticisms for it. And some of these I can't read. Some of them, we'll see. And everybody talks too about, like, shitting on Aloy. She's not an interesting character. That is more of our criticisms, but she is an interesting character. She's not an interesting character on her own. So if you've just, like, seen her interact in side quests, she's not an interesting character on its own. If you've seen her just interact with the story people, she's not as interesting as a character on her own. When you see everything as a whole and you see how she interacts with people, then it's interesting. Then you start understanding, especially now in this game. I got to a point where I was like, I don't know how much I like that they did this character's, like, attitude and everything. And then I took a step back and thought of it and went, like, you know what? Actually, this character has this attitude and these certain feelings towards Aloy because she's not your typical tribesman. She's a loner. She doesn't know how to interact with people. She's here for the bigger picture, and she doesn't see everyone, when seeing everybody is also part of the bigger picture sometimes, which is, I don't agree with a lot of these. These are people who don't, a lot of this is subjective too. You might really like it. You might not like it. Oh boy. Oh boy. And some of this is going to be, like, subjective for some of these. Only one here. There is no multiplayer. There wasn't expressed to be a multiplayer. 0 out of 10. There's no multiplayer. It's a single player experience. What do you want to go play a multiplayer game? Go ahead. Go play Halo Infinite. I tried playing Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite wasn't a multiplayer game. I was spending more time with bugs and crashes and on the fucking loading screen than anything. Go play that multiplayer game. Yeah, I don't. So some of these are stupid. Um, some of them like this here is just fucking stupid. There's no multiplayer. It wasn't expressed to be multiplayer. Some of these are just subjective, really. Um, when it gets down to it. Now, let me talk about the more legitimate concerns. And this is again, I've only played like, I think my game time is like 6 hours and 40 minutes. Um, a good amount of that is multiplayer. I just unlocked the shops like an hour ago in my gameplay. So like I'm doing all the side quest stuff because I enjoy the world, I enjoyed the storytelling, I enjoyed the characters. They did a lot better. I enjoyed the first game, and it needed a lot of improvements, and they did a lot of improvements. I'll talk about that maybe in like another review and everything. So some of the more legitimate stuff. A lot of people here are complaining about the performance mode. I have not played it in resolution mode. I've only played it in performance mode. So, and again, I've only have 6 hours of gameplay. Maybe these people played for like 20, 30 fucking hours. Um, but this one was like, okay, this is also day one. I played it later in the night in day one. 30 FPS mode is a stuttering mess. The only thing I have to go off the 30 FPS mode is Digital Foundry, who didn't say anything, who had like absolutely no problems, but that's two people playing the version of the game on PS5 and PS4. This is the PS5 version. So that's two people in a test group of, however many hundreds here. More than half these people didn't even fucking play the game, right? Probably same here. That's why this is all stupid. This whole review fucking process and all this shit. That's all fucking stupid. So here, they talk about their bugs, glitches, and things like that. I'm not going to. So here's the thing. I'm not going to bash a game for having bugs and glitches on day one. I'm going to bash a game for having bugs and glitches on week one. If you don't address them and you don't acknowledge that they're there, then that shows you don't give a shit. And then I will start bitching and complaining. I don't have a problem that what's it called? Avengers had bugs and glitches on day one. I have a problem that they weren't like really fixed for a while. The gameplay was boring, and the storytelling was boring, and it just wasn't interesting. There's a lot more there, so it's like the bugs and glitches were not making the experience any better. I have little bugs and glitches. It looks like when I play Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, that game's bugs and glitches are why speedrunning that game is 13 minutes and not however many hours like a normal Pokemon game. Bugs and glitches aren't always a bad thing. When they're prominent, yes. I have personally not seen bugs or glitches. I have not experienced any. I have experienced things like the hair physics are all over the place. With our, I have seen some weird, like during a cutscene, the way an NPC will act a little weird. It's not a bug or a glitch. Just they'll walk into the background of a cutscene. They're just doing their normal thing, and it looks weird because of the camera cut. It's not a bug or a glitch. I haven't had something where like I clipped through a wall or I fell through the floor or game crashed. The only thing that I've had, the only visual bug that I've had is one character's hair looked weird in a certain scene. And that's in a certain like cutscene interaction. That's it. Everything else, like that character looks normal. If I go up to them, they look fine. So it just seemed to be right then and there. So I'm not going to bash them for day one of an open world game that has bugs and glitches. Boo hoo, everyone who wants to talk about that. It's called playing an open world game. I can't play Skyrim to this day. That's what, over 10 years old, and its bugs and glitches still aren't even completely fixed. What makes them better? Fan mods. Come on, guys. Bugs and glitches. I wouldn't say that's a huge thing. But these people who are getting them, if you're just falling fucking through the goddamn floor, I would be pretty pissed off too. There were some other ones. Oh no, Sony's review masterpiece gets review bombed. Must be trolls. Oh, here's the one. I love Tomb Raider games. I like playing in, yeah, bugs everywhere in the course of the story. Oh god, didn't even care in the slightest. One of the most boring stories ever played in a AAA game. No, no. I can tell you the entirety of Halo Infinite's story is so much more boring than the first 2 hours of this, because characters are actually have character arcs more than just Master Chief, right? You don't have an annoying character like whoever that fucking pilot was, constantly on your ass, being nothing but a nuisance, a pain in the ass, and he goes through the weirdest fucking arcs. You don't have a weird AI that's sometimes good, sometimes bad. No, that game had a really boring story. Not like very lackluster like antagonist. The antagonists here so far that I've seen, the like 3 antagonistical people so far, and they aren't the main antagonists of the story. To you, they might seem pretty like boring because it's like, oh, that's just a business mogul. Yeah, but it's interesting to see how a business mogul goes in an ancient culture and its manipulation. This dude has intelligence using like advertising, false advertising, and propaganda to get his way. That's interesting. It's a lot more interesting than bad guy wants to sacrifice people. You know? The guy from the first game is still back here. Some of the side characters are more interesting. Her friends are also interesting. And how they're interacting with her. Spoilers, one of her friends is not having the interactions I thought that they would have with her, but then after hearing why he's got a problem with her, I went, oh shit, I didn't think of it like that. I'm going in the perspective of Aloy if there's the bigger picture. And there's not. There's also the smaller picture, which she doesn't give a shit about. Because she's a loner. She never grew up in those big clans. So, if you're having visual bugs and glitches that are preventing you from playing the game, then you're on like a cyberpunk level, and I'm sorry. I haven't experienced that. I don't. If I had seen it, I would tell you. I haven't seen it. Here's the one. This is what I want to vibe. Graphics are very lacking. Aloy looks worse than ever. Environments look bland, gray, unnatural, etc. This is not subjective. This is something that is objective. No. The graphics are not lacking. The graphics in performance mode are more lacking than the quality mode. The quality mode is one of the most beautiful games I've seen. They did a lot of fucking work to make this game look incredible, and it looks incredible. Aloy looks worse than ever. No, she does not. Go look at side by side. Go watch Digital Foundry. Go look at a side by side comparison. No, go look at the PS4 Pro version versus the PS5 version of this game. She looks better. That's what fucking texture quality and higher polygon count does. Environments look bland, gray, unnatural. No, the exact opposite. Water looks like water. Rocks. I'll go into all the stuff later when I talk about it. I'm going to talk about the game separately. So yeah, a lot of these I can't read. Some of these like this seem like just the same guy spamming over and over. Yeah, I can't read some of these. Yeah. Oh, let me read this one. Aloy is talking constantly and telling you what to do. She's by herself. Did you complain that Atreus talked too much in God of War? There's supposed to be dialogue. How are you supposed to get to know a character if they don't say anything? You want the silent, but go play Zelda. Go play the silent protagonist. Zelda's a fun game. Link is fucking boring. I'm going to piss off all the Zelda fans. Link is fucking boring. He has no character. None. He doesn't talk. He just does. This fixes that. Aloy is stuck in environmental objects. That I do feel, because I'm just jumping all over the place. I get stuck in places sometimes, but you can just jump out. I don't know this. Platforming is garbage. No. No. What's the platform? Okay, hold on. Don't prologue. Over an hour to beat ultra linear tutorial. I don't think the tutorial was as good as the first game, but it's necessary. You need it. Everything you use there is going forward. Platforming is garbage. And you need a constant. No. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, so I'm gonna get out of this one. It's just like, it's fucking amazing, dude. It's just fucking amazing. Sorry, I had to go plug in the laptop because it was dying. I forgot it wasn't plugged in. Okay, so I'm gonna end this here because I wanna go through some of these. I'm gonna talk about this guy's fucking review. I'm gonna go through some of these and talk about like the actual good things, the bad things of the game, and everything. So here's my overall opinion. These mean every single one of these means fucking nothing. It means absolutely fucking nothing. Apparently, the bugs and glitches are just situational. If you don't get them, you don't get them. If you get them, you get them. It's not a cyberpunk. It's playable. It's not even like I found more like visual bugs and glitches in the first 6 hours of Returnal, and those are fixed shortly, like not even a month afterwards. I didn't have any problems after like 2 or 3 weeks with Returnal. I had problems like little ones there. There's visual bugs and glitches in Guardians of the Galaxy, Halo Infinite's campaign. Once I got to the open world before the patch, because my fucking AMD drivers need to be updated for it, it was the worst looking game I've ever played. It looked horrible. So, and then Battlefield 2014, like these are just such over exaggerations because they don't like, and a lot of these are going to be like, they don't like the fact that there is an air of agenda pushing, which there really isn't. There really isn't. And I'm telling you, as somebody, you go look at my shit. Go see how I feel about people talking about making Cloud gay. Go see what I think about pandering in media. Go see what I talk about the accent that Aquafina does, and people doing accents in movies. I'm pretty in the middle. I think both sides are fucking stupid. This has more of a liberal side, sure. This was not created by somebody who's conservative because it's about climate change and people destroying the planet and making it unlivable, and then people trying to find ways to recover the planet. Like, that was the crux of the first fucking story. This obviously wasn't made by some evangelical, no shit, but this wasn't made from the same people who did The Last of Us Part 2, okay? This doesn't, no, okay? So I'm going to end that here. If you're interested in hearing like me like tear some of these apart and talk about these fucking idiots, I will. This is going to be separate, so I can just tell you as my perspective as someone who liked the first game, who thought that it was kind of boring and had certain issues. This game does a lot to expand on that stuff. It doesn't. It adds the things it needs to add, and everything else it kind of keeps the same. So if you didn't like the first Horizon, you're probably not going to like the next Horizon. If you didn't like the core of the gameplay, the loop, if you didn't like how you had to take down the enemies and everything, you might not like this game. Again, I don't even have the glider. I'm like fucking 2 hours into the story. I'm just exploring and having fun. So if you didn't like it, you're not going to probably like it. If you're going to buy the game based off of these, no, none of these people like wanted to like the game. There's not anybody here who actually wanted to like the game. It's not one of the most disappointing games. It's not terrible. It's not. If it's a buggy mess for you, it's a buggy mess for you. I'm so sorry. I have not experienced any of that. I haven't heard any of that from anyone who were big time reviewers. It's just not there. If it's there for you, I'm so sorry. Everybody has a different experience. My friend has had Bugs and glitches with God of War that I haven't had. I've had a bug or glitch with God of War that he didn't have. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means it's situational depending on the person. So I'm sorry if you're having that, but those are the only legitimate like causes and concerns here. Everything else is fucking stupid. So let me end this so I can get into it, so I can tear apart these people. So yeah, come and join in the next video if you like this. And I will actually be going through some of the more details in the next one. But until then, have a nice one. These will probably be uploading like either on the same day or a day apart. But yeah, I'm just doing this so I don't have another 40-50 minute video. One fucking topic. Because I have a lot to say. I always do. So yeah, have a nice one, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, so hello. You're at the end of this. I wanted to just hear you from somebody who's not a gamer's perspective to hear like how stupid all this is. So I have my girlfriend in the background here. She's not gonna be recorded. Say hello.
Hi.
Hi. So she's seen me play games like Spider-Man and God of War. She thinks they look great and amazing. So you saw me play the new game that you got me over the weekend, right?
Right, the Horizon.
Yeah. What did you think? Did it look good?
Yeah,
Did it look
it did.
pretty and everything?
Yeah, it looked really pretty.
It's getting review bond, and it's being called like a terrible looking game graphics wise. One of the worst looking games ever. What do you think? Does it actually look like? Does it look anywhere near like my Pokemon games? You should see her face. So that's an answer for all of you. These fucking reviews are dumb. Just wanted to have that in there.